The biggest thing I would definitely say with Uncaged that I've literally ran with is vulnerability. I don't think as an entrepreneur there's a lot of vulnerability. A lot of people use these vanity metrics to boost their ego and boost who they are in general. And when you get into Uncaged, and I'm not involved as I would like to be, one thing I've noticed is there's dudes who go in there and they're like, dude, today's not a good fucking day. I'm literally losing today. Like this happened with my wife, this happened with my business, and that gives you the chance to literally not hide what's going on in your life and actually come in and talk about a problem. With many other places, it's oh, this guy's losing. We don't want to be with this guy, right? Everybody will use these vanity metrics. That's one of the biggest things that I've taken away from Uncaged. Other than that, the biggest thing is clarity, right? You have the 30-day program, bro, where you literally, and that changed my life when the first round we did it. Like it literally, like I cannot pronounce it right still. The Ikiagi, right? What you're
Icky
good
guy.
at, Ikigai, bro. I always pronounce, I still have it on my wall.
Yeah.
And you produce so much clarity throughout my life when it comes to actually having real goals tied to certain outcomes that you create for your own life. But not only that, bro, actually, how much is the house that you want to buy? What kind of lineup of cars do you really want to have? How much does that mean you make a month? Bro, I've never been a part of a program where people are like, dude, get super dialed into your life. I've been part of real estate uh networks, marketing networks, all sorts of networks. And these guys are like, all right, dude, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get cold callers, we're gonna start calling, we're just gonna start locking up deals, right? Or hey, this is how you
But
go make a
fucking
Facebook post.
why?
Bro, nothing is driven emotionally. Why do you want the house? Why do you want the car? What are you really good at? What do you really want to be doing? Do you really want to be locking up deals or you just want to make money?
Mm.
Like that's the biggest thing with Uncaged is that it brought a lot of clarity in my world, bro, to where I'm like, okay, like it's crazy because you introduced that to me through the program where you tie a goal with a reward, right? Like I got this tattoo done like maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And literally that was a reward based on doing a certain amount of revenue, right? That came from Uncaged, bro. So it's simple things like that.
Man, that's fucking sick, bro. And and that's what's cool about it. Like success is simple. Like you said, it's not easy, but it's fucking simple. And success looks different to everybody, But and if you're listening to this channel, like that's what all of this is. It's the
Yeah.
journey to the top 1%. And how do we get there? It's by getting 1% better every day, 1% better daily. And so, no, man, I love it, dude. I think this is going to be an incredible conversation. So, Rob, why don't you tell the guys who you are and what you do? And let's get into it.
Yeah, man. I'm a real estate investor, I guess you can call it, out here in South Florida. We primarily flip land to builders so they could build new homes and they go put them on the market for sale for the everyday people. And it's a pretty cool business. I didn't originally start out wanting to invest in land and flip land. We started with houses. And when that shit got tough with the interest rates, we had to pivot. And I'm like, what's the next big thing that I can go into that can still bring in consistent income? And it was land. I came across land and I'm like, dude, this is a huge opportunity. And it's funny because now if you go on Instagram, everybody's flipping land now. Right. And I'm like, oh, dude, we were doing this like years ago where we're like, we're just finding pieces of land, making 20, $30,000 a plot and just selling them off to builders. And literally in 6 months, they're putting houses up. And I thought it was the coolest thing because we actually got to see these houses get sold and people be excited about their first home. So I kind of fell in love with the game doing that. But originally, before I got into all that, I used to work for Google, bro. I was doing sales for Google within Best Buys and Verizons and things like that. Dude, like literally doing, like I told you earlier, $40,000 a year, like literally making nothing doing sales. And I was in college, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I started just getting involved in personal development, and then we just took off and went into real estate, bro.
Fuck yeah, man. No, that's cool. And you made a comment, I think what was on the air, that you wish you're not as involved as you had been. We kind of been talking about why you've pulled back a little bit just because of everything going on inside your business. You had to be like laser focused. But it's funny because you're such a good dude and like the way your name holds itself, like I can't make this up. Fucking literally, like 5 minutes ago, someone was asking about like wholesale flipping and wholesale deals, and like your fucking name came up in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's cool that like you know. someone like yourself, who was a part of the original, like you're the one that helped us launch this. And, yeah, you've been a little bit quiet lately, focus on your own thing. Nothing wrong with that. But like your name still kind of carries that weight. So that's fucking gangster. But like to bring it back around the conversation about like the vulnerability and like the ego and the vanity metrics and stuff like that. I agree, man. Like I think that's what's you made a comment about the 30-day challenge, and we'll kind of hit on some of the things you said with that in a little bit. But you made this comment about like being around some of these people and seeing their vulnerability. Like, and for me, like the way that translated is like these are real people, right? And what's cool about that is what it has done for me specifically is, bro, we talked off air a little bit about like money and like where we've come from. And dude, in my previous life, the goal was always like 100 grand a year, right? And
Yeah.
bro, when I started getting around guys that were doing 100 grand, uh, weeks, that's when I started doing 100 grand months. And then when I started getting around guys that were doing 100 grand days, I started doing 100 grand weeks. And then when I started getting around dudes that were just doing bananas numbers days, like now here's where the marketing agencies will fuck you up and shit. Like they'll do it like one goddamn time and then they'll like make it sound like that's the new norm. But like I, I experienced in my life going from 100 grand a year, 100 grand months, 100 grand weeks to 100 grand in 24 hours. And like for me, like that was so incredible because it was putting me around people that were doing these things so that way it like normalized those numbers to me. And to bring it back full circle real fast to your point is being an uncaged, we got guys doing 100 million dollar years, and being around them and seeing them being vulnerable and transparent and honest and open, that's when I was like, holy shit, dude, like these people that are doing just, 9, 10 figures, they're still regular motherfuckers with regular lives, and life be lifing for them, bro. Like, so
Hell
that
yeah.
the power of that proximity, it just changes the game for me. Like, have you seen any experience with that?
Yeah, bro. Like as far as like when you're connecting with these vulnerable guys,
Well, just seeing that, like when you see someone that's doing like again, bro, you came from making 40 fucking grand a year. Like that ain't shit, And I'm obviously
nothing.
not shitting on that, but
Yeah.
like that seems so far out of perspective to $100 million a year, bro. Like that gap is just too large to
Huge.
fathom. And you're over here like, man, I'm just a regular guy. But then you
Yeah.
get around these guys and you're like, holy shit, they're just regular guys too. Like,
Yeah.
what does
Yeah.
that do to your mindset?
Bro, you know what's insane is that now I understand what you're asking, bro. Like, dude, you see some of these dudes, like for example, I'll pay attention to like Stoller for like for him, for example, dude does banana numbers, bro.
Yeah.
Right? And when he pops in, like regular fucking dude who wakes up, hits the gym, hates when people park next to his car, right? Shit's fucking it's hilarious. He has dreams just like all of us. And the craziest thing is he has the resources just like all of us. It's just that he's spending his time better. And that's why that's my biggest thing when I study people is like, how are they spending their time? And then when they actually get the money, how are they spending their money?
Mhm.
And you can notice it among some of these dudes. The first thing they go do is design, or there's some other people who are like, dude, I'm putting this away for a rainy day. But when you get around those dudes and you realize that they're normal people, bro, it gives me the biggest boost of confidence because I'm like, I'm just as normal as him. And if I walk with him, I go with him through his bad days. He comes with me through my bad days. Bro, we're always gonna reach the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing when it comes to these guys who are vulnerable because, bro, everybody has bad days. It doesn't matter if you're making $10 million, you're making $10. Everybody has a bad day. You know what I'm saying? I just saw like a big real estate guy literally posted on IG the other day. He's like, today was the worst day of my life in business. Like, I lost so much money today. It's insane. Dude's making a million times probably more money than me, but like, I'm like, damn, I feel that, bro. I get that. But when you're able to see the vulnerability and what they do on a day-to-day basis, bro, not only that, you get held accountable. I've learned that very big in the group as well. These people are still prospecting no matter what. They're still showing up and showing out for their family no matter what. and they're still showing up and showing out for their brothers.
Mm.
You know
Man,
what I'm saying?
yeah, you said something important there that I think people need to make sure that they catch on to, because the thing is okay. I'm a huge fan of this too. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. As I study, my mentors, like I actually study these people. It's almost kind of, I don't know, it might be stalkerish. And like I
Yeah.
even took it a step further where like I'll start studying like my mentors. Like if I hear them saying this like same person over and over and over again, because what I want to do is I want to go see what you can pick up like what nuggets they took from their mentors. So I'll go see what they were talking about, and then I can reverse engineer how they translated it and applied it to their life. But to your point, with these like guys that we look up to that are going through bad days, the thing is, the biggest difference that I see is bad days are inevitable. Like there's literally not shit you can do about it. So the thing is, it's the difference is how they move in those bad days, right?
100%.
And like motherfucker lost more money than he ever had in his entire career. And like it just becomes another day. And when you can learn how to, everyone can imagine and dream how they operate in their best days. How many times do we
Yeah.
really sit with the thought of how do we operate in our bad days? And how do we
Boom.
increase
Yeah.
that? Because I believe the difference between us and the people that we're looking up to, it's not how we operate when shit's going good. It's how we operate when shit's going bad. Because
Yeah.
normal folks be using that shit as excuses.
Somebody just told me in my building right now, I'm like, damn, it's the parking lot's empty today. And he's like, yeah, people don't like to work on rainy days. I'm like, bro, this is the best day to work. Ain't no reason to go outside and get distracted, bro. Stay in the office. We start getting shit done. But you made a really good point, bro. How do you plan to have, like, for me, like on bad days, I have a system, right? I have a super system for bad days because same thing. I know they're inevitable. Nobody's gonna live a perfect life. And my little system every day is I'm like, okay, what's gonna boost up my dopamine, right? Which is bad. I shouldn't be like playing on my dopamine like that. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go get my favorite coffee from one of my favorite spots out here in Florida. It's called Seven Brew, right? I'm not gonna go to the office today. I'm gonna go sit somewhere nice where I can be on the water and just get a little bit of inspiration. Bro, once I do that, I go get into like the ultimate flow state, and then the bad day turns around. But what most people do is when you have those bad days, like, bro, they're just going in and they're like, fuck, dude, I'm in this much debt. I owe this much in taxes. Like, I can't pay this credit card this month. I can't do this month. Like, and you just start lingering in all that doubt and all that fear and all that shit, bro. And then next thing you know, it's a whole chain reaction.
Yep.
Now one bad day turns into a bad week and then a bad month, and bro, goes into bleeds into everything.
Yeah, bro, it's
Yeah,
fucking rough, dude. No, and there's a lot psychologically that goes into like what you just said about like removing yourself from the scenario and kind of shaking up your world. It's like the same thing as like a cheat meal like in the gym, right? Like you're giving yourself
yeah,
a shock to the system. You're removing yourself because like a lot of times like so not much at this house, but like our previous house and the one that we're gonna get next, like I'm gonna replicate it again. But like I had like different areas of the house that I did specific tasks and stuff because like just the mindset it put me in. And to your point, like I would feel myself like leveling off, like, just, and that's the thing. Like one of the things I've been the most hyper focused on in the last, I don't know, probably year, maybe even a little bit longer is like hyper efficiency. Like, dude, the difference between like when you're performing at such a high level, I was talking about this or I was watching a podcast talking about, the difference in a 1% change in the Olympics is the difference between a gold podium standing and a fucking silver, bro. Like at the highest
holy
level, like we,
shit.
we think that a 1% makes no difference, but in reality, like that's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah,
At such a high level. And so like for me, it's like when I notice any type of like lack of efficiency, I immediately like, how do we solve this problem, bro? Because I mean, yeah, like what we're doing right now, lack of efficiency might only be like 10, 15, 20 grand a year in losses of revenue or whatever. But what happens a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, that's 100 grand, 500 grand, a million. Like you start really like, I'd rather be learning these lessons now than with extra zeros attached to the fucking revenue stream. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, because bro, those are deep losses, bro, with bigger stuff. Like even with you, bro, I think one of our first conversations, I forgot when it was, but I remember I hit you up. I'm like, dude, I'm like this much in debt. I got no money coming in. What the fuck do I do? Bro, you didn't even tell me like, bro, go market more. You just went straight to the mindset. You're like, bro, you're really about to go file for bankruptcy. Like that conversation plays in my head all the time. Like anytime we have a bad week, I'm like, bro, you're gonna go file for bankruptcy? You about to let your family down? You're gonna let yourself down? You're gonna let your dreams down? I'm like, fuck. It's not even about the systems and stuff like that. It's about who the hell you are internally. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why I just went off on that, but it's funny, bro, because a lot of those things, I like those issues I dealt with at that time, it didn't have the amount of money that we have now at this time.
mhm.
And I'm like, thank God I learned those lessons then.
Yes.
Because now it allowed us to go into a whole different level.
Yeah, bro. And that shit's real, man. And I think that's, to the point, like, that guy that you look up to that said he just had his, like, worst fucking loss ever. But like there is a lesson that he just learned through that process that will keep him from losing 10 times that later on down the road. And like that's the pieces of the puzzle that I think separate the normal folks to the ones worth looking up to is like, okay, bro, like worst day ever, career history. Now what, shit, literally, in the same industry as you, but not, in wholesale flipping. But one of our brothers, in the real estate game, was that February, March, January, February, or March, one of those 3 months was literally the worst in his entire career.
Yeah.
April was the best he's ever done. Like, like so like I guarantee you there was a lesson hidden in that like worst month that made this motherfucker be like, okay, I see it now. And then they just move different. And that's, you know,
Boom.
one of the things kind of to this, but a separate conversation. And ironically enough, it's me and Asa that play this a lot. And Asa is only in Uncaged because of your name, right? Like,
Yeah.
and now Asa is one of the biggest players we have inside of Uncaged. And so him and I play a lot off each other. I've been spending a lot of time not studying like multimillionaires or anything like that, but I'm actually studying billionaires right now. And one of the things that the common consensus from several billionaires that I've been studying, and it's funny that they all say the same thing. It's all about the speed that they move. It's all about how quickly they can accomplish something. Like a normal person will be like, all right, cool, I'll get to you by the end of the week. The billionaires, like, you'll have it tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, bro. You're talking about moving 5, 7 times faster than the regular motherfucker, all because you're learning to take immediate action.
Yeah. Yeah. The,
I
that
mean,
the bro, adaptation is insane with billionaires. So
yeah.
I've noticed too. Like the way they move, it's so fluid.
But it all comes
So
from
fluid.
lessons that they learned. Like they just
Yeah.
simply just learn these lessons and then the biggest thing that I could see, and I don't actually know this. This doesn't come from like me studying things, but it's the same thing. Like I try to apply to every facet of my life. Is okay. You learn a lesson, cool. Let's not learn this lesson twice because how much motherfucking time did you
Mm,
just waste? You just took twice as
yeah.
long to learn the same motherfucking lesson, bro.
Yeah, that's gold, bro. Yeah, that's gold. And you know what, man? It's having a certain level too. This is my opinion on it, bro. There's a certain level too of having respect for the lesson. Because there's some people, bro, and this came from a book, Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. I don't know if you've ever read it
I
before.
haven't read it. Yeah.
Bro, phenomenal book, regardless of religion. Phenomenal
Yeah.
book. The guy, he literally said, the author's having a conversation with God, and he's like, why do I stay in the same position in my life? God literally responded to me. He's like, because you lack respect for the lesson. When you lack respect for the lesson, I'm going to keep making you repeat it until you have respect for it to level up out of it. And I'm like, shit. And that shit just made me think about things in my life where I'm like, I didn't have respect for that lesson or this lesson. So I kept repeating it and just cycling through it until I understood it and ascended from it. Bro, there's a lot of people who they'll do things one, two, three, four, five times and they refuse to ascend because they refuse to respect.
Mm. Yeah, bro, that's fucking heavy. And that's why, we'll go ahead and tie this into, like the 30-day challenge and the dream life and stuff like that. Bro, that's why I challenge people the way I do, right? Like, you said like, bro, about to file for fucking bankruptcy, this, that, whatever. Like, and the thing is you weren't, and this is when I say you, it's probably the motherfucker listening to this episode right now. Like, this could be anybody, but the problem you start having these like mental like fallbacks is because you aren't clear enough on what you want. Because the thing
Yeah.
is like when you have that like fail safe or that backup plan or whatever the case is, you're giving yourself an out that says, hey man, when times get hard, it's okay because I'm not even really that fucking clear about any of this. Because if you were clear on this shit, to your point, like, bro, all the way down to, and I get some shit for it sometimes, like in the comments, because I'm very vocal on like what my dream life looks like, and all the way down to the fact that like my house, as of right now, give or take a probably half a million, is going to be around $3.5 million. And people are like,
Hmm.
oh, like you don't have to blah blah blah. I'm like, first of all, fuck you. It's my dream life, not yours. Suck my dick. But second of all, it's it comes from a good place because it checks all the boxes of our dream house that my wife, myself, and my daughter like want, like the amenities, the things that come with it, the location, like the style of home, like all this stuff comes from like a morally good place. But we've gotten so hyper specific, bro. We've gotten so specific. We'll drive up and down the road here in Florida and be like, fuck yeah, that's our inspiration. Or what do you think about this one versus that one? Or, location. Like there's so much. And so we literally know, I say within, $500,000. I know that sounds like a big game, a big swing, but you get where I'm
Yeah,
saying there is like we're very specific on that. So like when shit gets tough, and it's not just about the house, it's everything else that comes in between is
yeah.
like when you're ready to give up, it's because you can't see that fuck. Like, bro, I can tell you what the fucking food tastes like sitting in the goddamn kitchen of that house, bro. Like,
Yeah,
that's where my clarity and conviction comes from, is I fucking see it. I can feel it, touch it, taste it. And that's my drive. Like, there is no bankruptcy or giving up for me. And again, I know there's not for you anymore, but like that's where these people fail is it's not that they don't have the information, they don't have the clarity, like what you were saying.
bro. And that's the most massive thing on the planet. And like that's why like even through and I was so excited to go through the 30-day challenge. I actually have to go back and redo it
Mhm.
because it's been a little while since I've done it. I got to go back and redo it. One of the biggest things is that clarity. Because bro, without clarity, it's so hard to move forward. You're literally a boat without a rudder. Like they say you have to have faith like a sailor, right? You can't see your destination. You can only hope you're going in the right direction. And as long as you're following what you're doing. Bro, you made it so clear because even I've had multiple hard days, just like that one, like I think it was a year or two ago when I reached out to you. But the mindset is so different because it's the same thing. There is no bankruptcy, there is no failure because everything I have to do over here, bankruptcy and failure can't help it out. You know what I'm saying? And with that, when you move with that kind of clarity, dude, it's so hard to lose.
I'm trying to find it's Michelangelo. I wanted to double check. Talking about the clarity. So this is one of my favorite quotes that I've ever heard. And this is like a big inspiration. It's actually in my book, but it's a big inspiration for the 30-day challenge. And Michelangelo says the greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss, but it's too low and we reach it.
Damn. Michelangelo said that?
Yeah.
It's not that it's too high, it's too low and we reach it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been
And
there plenty of times.
yeah, and that's the thing with like that 30-day challenge, or just, bro, I don't give a fuck where the inspiration comes from. It doesn't have to be the 30-day challenge. But like when you get bought into like, there's two parts of it. Is A even understanding like what the vision is, right? Like just even at the base level and realizing like, hey man, like I might have fucked up. Like maybe these goals aren't, maybe these do need to be higher, right? Like we had a conversation about it in the group chat earlier today with this guy that was talking about like his strategies for his like retirement and stuff. And like three or four people before I could even jump in were like, yeah, man, you might need to triple that number. And so like that's like one of my biggest fears for people is not, listen, bro, we don't get taught financial literacy. So you don't know what you don't know till you know it. But one of my biggest fucking fears for people is they get towards the end of their life or whatever, and they realize they got more life left than money. And bro, I know you can see this. Um, but like us here living in Florida, there's two types of retirees when I go out, bro. There's retirees thriving, bro. They don't check the tab, they pay for the whole table, they don't check up, nothing stresses them. They're having the best time of their life. All the way to the extreme opposite is these people on fixed incomes counting fucking pennies to pay tabs. Like, bro, that's
Bro.
two different types of people, bro. That's two
Yeah.
different types of lives. And so if you don't know what the fuck you're aiming for, bro, like that's where you end up. If you don't know like what
Yeah.
it really takes.
And that's such a good point. I've always seen that subconsciously. I'm like, damn, bro, there's literally, bro, especially out here in South Florida, bro, like you see it everywhere. Like people scraping by and people who are just thriving. And that's where clarity, and I'm still working on the clarity even today.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get real clear with my day. I'm like, how does my day need to be spent? Like, because today is gonna build the week. But bro, like the clarity, in my opinion, is everything because like I said before, bro, like you're like a rudderless ship, and it's so easy to sit here and think you want to make that $100,000. You wanna have $10,000 saved, bro. If you look at today, what the fuck is $10,000 saved? What is it gonna help you for? Like for what? Like when I first got into real estate, I'm like, dude, I just want to make 20K a month. That's all I want to do. And bro, we do 20K deals, and I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah.
I was thinking so low. And even still today, like now, like I'm in the place where I want to start developing houses. And just because of all the land that we get, I'm like, man, I just want to develop one house. And even now, I think I know I'm thinking too low. But
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the cool things when you get around brothers like that is they will help you think on a complete another level. And that's where the biggest thing with brotherhood comes in, you
You know,
know?
it was for sure. And I was actually just thinking about this because it's the access to information. Because again, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And like when you start to get around people that do that move different, I'll just say they not only move different, but they fucking think different, bro. Like they think with different parts of their fucking brains than we, you know. And now they obviously had to learn that, and it was acquired, and they had to get there. They weren't just given this gift. It's not like they have like some cheat sheet that like we don't have access to. But now we get access to that cheat sheet watching them because like to your point, bro, like I just watched one of the guys in Uncaged go buy some fucking land in East Tennessee, turn around and put up some lean-tos on it and put some solar on top of it. The solar tax credits pay for the mortgage of the property. And now he put it up on some, it's like a Airbnb for, but for people to like park their boat trailers and their side-by-side
Oh
trailers.
shit.
So now it's profit producing. Like this motherfucker just bought like 15 acres of prime real estate land in East Tennessee next to a fucking lake. And after like 7 years, it'll all be paid for. And he didn't even fucking pay for a penny of it. And it's profit
Yeah.
producing along like it's just these motherfuckers operate different. They think different. And you know, to your point, especially in the real estate game, dude, like I've seen shit, you even look at like Asa and Steven and these guys and the way that they leverage credit and HELOCs and stuff like this to buy and flip homes and then buy and hold and buy and sell. Like, bro, they just the information that they have access to that they've now acquired,
Yeah.
it changes the game. It makes shit you're talking about just accessible for regular motherfuckers like us that never knew this shit.
Yeah. That's another thing, dude. Cause you know what? It's so easy because when you look at industries, it's so generalized. Real estate, insurance, you have medical, shit like that. But then when you start really getting around people, there's so many mini industries that you're like, fuck, I didn't know that was even a thing.
Mhm.
And those are industries you could like really go in and like crush. Like my girl used to work for this guy where it's like, bro, there's only like three big people in this industry, and it's placing liens for construction companies on houses, right? Dude, massive industry. There's only three big players in them. And I'm like, damn, bro. And I'm over here chasing real estate. That's like a whole nother avenue, right? So when you start getting around different people, you start realizing how much more like you can niche down and go into a certain direction with shit. I would have never thought to put solar on land, bro. And I look at land all day.
Yeah.
Never in my life until right now. I'm like,
Bro,
shit, I might have to go change something up.
dog, I literally was in a room full of guys doing much better than I am while he was talking about it, and I just saw their jaws hit the floor, dude. It's just like it's wild, and that's another one of the guys at one of the retreats. Just and this is what being it's common conversations that turn life changing. Now, I'm not going to say like $6,000 is life changing, but like hear me out when I say we're just shooting the shit at the retreat, and Austin Halsey has two Dobermans that he just spent like 3 grand each having them like professionally trained. And Byron was like, "Oh yeah, well now since they've been professionally trained, they're now dependents of yours. You can write them off on your taxes." So
What
he
the
got
fuck?
$6,000 in tax write-offs right there, and he's like, plus all their medical vet bills and anything you buy for them, food and stuff. They're all tax write-offs. So it's like a fucking 30-second conversation turns into $6,000 in tax write-offs. And it's like you're sitting
Damn.
there and you're like, holy fucking shit, bro. Like, what?
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Shit, that's nuts.
Yeah, bro. I mean, dude, money just moves different. There's a guy here local to me that I'm friends with. I don't know if you saw me on my birthday hanging out at his shop. Dude's got like $15 million in cars in his shop right
Yeah,
now. That's his,
that
yeah.
the one with the garage.
Yeah, that's his
Yeah, it's
office.
nasty.
It's not even like his garage. Like he don't even really work on cars there. Like that's his office. He literally wants to just
That's
like work
crazy.
and see his cars as like motivation, and inspiration. But like this dude, like he like flies out to California to go like race cars and shit. And he was like, "Yeah, man, just hanging out at the racetrack." And one of my buddies was like, "Hey, man, you own any mines?" And he was like, "No." And he was like, "Oh yeah, bro." He's like, "I got a sand mine." He's like, "One of the best investments I've ever made." So he like went out and bought three or built three fucking sand mines. He's like, "Yeah, it's like a bunch
What
of."
the fuck?
He's like, "It's a bunch of equipment. It's a bunch of equipment and two fucking employees." He's like, "It's one of the best ROIs I've ever made." And it's just like, what the fuck is going like?
Yeah,
But again, that's but this is a motherfucker that's to you went through the 30-day challenge, but not only that, like talking about giving yourself rewards and stuff. It's funny because I asked him, I was working out in the gym with him, and I asked him, and I was like, "Hey, bro, like, okay, I see the cars. Like, motherfucker just picked up an SVJ like 3 days ago. Like, it's like, bitch, it's a Tuesday. Like, this dude is like, just like
dropping a mill
goes
on the SVJ.
bro, just goes and scoops up an SVJ, bro. Like, but like, I was like, you move different. Obviously, you're into vehicles and stuff like that. I was like, what gives you this drive? He's like, man, he's like, my friends know that if they see me with a cool car, or like, taking allocation or taking delivery, he's like, Matt just closed another deal. Because he says, I reward myself based on deals that I do. Like, that's my motivation to doing this. He's a huge family guy and stuff like that, but he is a car guy at heart, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
that's what I do. And so I was like fucking with him. I was like, all right, bro, like, I don't know what else you can, bro. He's got 488s, he's got GTs, like, he's got five or six, cars that worth $1 million a piece. He has, I think, 4 cars or 5 cars that are numbered cars. I'm like, what else do you get from here, right? And I was like, so what's because he said he writes his goal at the top of his whiteboard, and then everything else around it, like planning and strategy and all that, like you'll write it and then you'll erase it and then you'll come back. He said, but the goal never changes; it stays at the top. I keep my eyes on it. I was like,
Mm.
I was like, all right, bro. I was like, what's the goal? I said, and what's the project you're working on to accomplish it? And he was like, it's like funny you ask. And so the project he's working on right now, he couldn't tell me what it was, but he said it's going to revolutionize the automotive industry. He said that a competitor already has made an offer on the company and all they want to do is shelve it because they can't figure out
Oh
what he's figured
shit.
out. Bro, the offer is $250 million up front and 1.2 billion over 5 years. And he turned them down.
Damn.
And I was like, all right, bro. I was like, what the fuck is the goal for that? Like, what's the reward? He goes, buy an F1 team. I was like, God damn it,
Oh
bro. Yeah.
shit.
But it's wild though. Like when you see to the bare minimum that these guys are normal guys too.
Yeah.
Dude just likes cars. He works
And in
hard and he
Endgame, he's like
rewards
F1
himself.
team. He's like F1 team. Yeah. How'd you meet this guy?
Bro, just shooting my shot. And I told him, I said, man, I can't wait till like we do a deal together or something. I was like, because you're gonna be like a success story, or like a motivational story that I'm gonna use on people because, bro, I came walking out of the fucking gym and right there was a fucking Ford GT Carbon Edition in the
No
parking
shit.
lot. And I was like, who the fuck dailies a goddamn car that's worth $1 million to the fucking gym? I was
Bro just
like,
opens the shit.
bro, I was like, this is a motherfucker I need to know. And so like I took a really dope picture of it. Because I literally just shared it in the Uncaged group. That's all I was doing. But like real small, he has his like Instagram handle on his car. So I shared it to my story and tagged him in it. And I was like, motherfuckers out here, it's 321 car enthusiast. And I was like 32. I didn't even know this motherfucker's name. Like I hadn't even scoped his page yet. I was just like 321 car enthusiasts out here showing us all what's possible. That's all I said. Put a dope
Yeah.
song behind it, edit on it, and I shared it, and he reshared it, and then sent me a friend request. And so I screenshot that, and I
No shit.
I sent it in the Uncaged group. I said, I'm gonna shoot my shot. So sure enough, I sent him a message, and I even then screenshot that message and sent it in the group chat and asked Stoller. I was like, "Hey man, is there a better way I should have handled this? Like, these high net worth people, like I already know, like interacting with him, they don't want like a, hey man, let me pick your brain, or hey man, you got a
Let me take you
second?
for coffee.
Yeah, right." And so like I sent it back to Stoller, made some changes. And the dude was like, he's like, hey man, he's like, I'm super fucking busy. He's like, literally outside of the gym and my family time, he's like, I'm at the office in front of a screen. He's like, if you want, he was like, I'll be at the gym tomorrow at 9 a.m. if you want to come catch a lift. And like, this was on a
No
Saturday.
shit.
This was on a Saturday. And so Sunday is my off day, right? From the gym. I work out Monday through Saturday. So I was like, that's my only off day. So I text my wife and I was like, well, I don't work out on Sundays, but I guess I am this week. I was like, you can't miss a shot. Hey, it's funny because just just some people, listen, I'm not anything to like look up to, whatever, but some people do look up to me, right? And so I want to say this and I want people to make sure because like we've been talking about this, like, everyone's a normal person, right? To the core.
Yeah.
Dude, when he sent me that message, there was a millisecond in my fucking mind where I was like, oh, I don't work out on Sundays. How about Monday?
Average people shit.
Guaranteed I would have lost this relationship. Guaranteed. And I was like, fuck it, bro. I'm there. And not only was I was there early. And then he was like, 15, 20 minutes late. So like I'm in the fucking parking lot kind of sweating. I was like, damn, bro, I got ghosted. But he's like, he looked me up. He's like, this boring ass motherfucker. I ain't even gonna work out with him. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. But that no, man.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah, bro. Ended up went catch a lift with him. And then we just like chopped it up through DMs after that for 2 or 3 days, and then there was like a rally coming up, and this is also what's cool too. Little sidebar conversation is I'm a car guy, and so when you see car guys catch their stride and start making money, and like they buy that fucking car, like they get shit on a lot because there are people that do it for the wrong reasons. But like, I hate seeing a car guy get shit on when he gets so excited, finally buy that dream car, and he does. And then everyone's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're just into materialistic things. Like, fuck you. Fuck, no, fuck. This car right here gave me the motivation to do all this fucking work to provide for my, like,
Yeah.
this is I deserve this, motherfucker. But, anyways, so there was a rally coming up and I had mentioned it to him. He's like, dude, why don't you come by my office on Saturday? And which happened to be my birthday. And I was like, absolutely, bro, I'll be there like fucking instantly. So I went, hung out with him that Saturday, and lo and motherfucking behold, the rally that I was talking about ends at his fucking office. He knows all these
Oh
motherfuckers. Bro,
shit.
there was probably $100 million in cars there. And it was a cool experience because I went to get I was like, bro, I didn't know it was ending here. I thought like y'all were leaving or y'all were going to it. I was like,
Yeah.
you care if I like go home and grab my wife and daughter? And like, I want them to be a part of this experience with me because this is so cool for me. And so it's fun,
Yeah.
man. Got to go get Lottie and Heather,
Yeah.
and we all just shared that moment. And yeah, bro. So it's been cool. And we're supposed to, he actually might be swinging through the retreat next weekend.
No shit. And
Yeah,
bro,
dude.
even to bring it back a little bit, bro, there's a key thing that you missed, bro, is that even though like you see that car, bro, most people just automatically think, why would somebody spend so much money on a car and keep walking?
Yeah.
You actually went up to go take a look at it, and you're like, fuck it, let's, fuck it. Bro, most people don't have that fuck it in them where they're just like, nah, this is not for me. Nah, I'm not. Imagine if you had that second of doubt that literally lost this whole thing for you, bro. That's what most people, everyday people go through because they look at those opportunities and they're like, nah.
Bro,
So it's
you
very important to build your awareness muscle. Very fucking important.
dude, yeah, and to have that awareness, though, you have to change the perspective. Because to your point, a lot of
Yeah.
people either jealousy kicks in or like the must be nice mindset and stuff like that, you know. And and here's another piece of it that if you're listening to this, I really, 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 really hope you hear, and I hope I can like convey this in the best way possible. And this goes to like almost the premise that Rob and I've been talking about this whole time is like these are just normal motherfuckers too, right? So my point
So,
is like don't feel like you have no responsibility talking to these people. Like
yeah.
these are just normal people. You can bring value to the conversation as well. You don't have to be own $1 billion worth of businesses. Like you can still bring value to these people. And you know, I mean, I was geeked up about it, you know, on that Saturday on my birthday. Just it was such a cool experience. And so I shared it with, you know, the Uncaged guys. I shared a little bit of it on, you know, my post, but like, you know, some other people I care about got like a little bit more of the story. And like my sister, you know, I shared some of it with my sister, who's younger than me. And she was like, man, she's like, it's so cool watching you live your life. She's like, you can just walk up to anyone and just start
Yeah.
talking to anyone. And like it kind of hit me because like for me, I was like, is that not normal? Like, you know, do people allow themselves to hold back what they truly want to do because of fear, doubt, self-limiting beliefs, imposter syndrome, like whatever? Listen, I deal with all that shit too, but like for me, I'm like, bro, if I don't shoot to your point, like if I don't shoot this shot, like we'll never know the rest of the story.
At
Like
all.
I would have just told you, yo, bro, it's so cool. I went to the gym the other day and I walked out and there was $1 million car. End of story. That's it.
Yeah.
Story would have ended there.
Yeah. And that right there, bro, you disqualify yourself so hard, bro. And
Yeah.
that's a big thing too, bro, is that a lot of people they disqualify themselves because of lack of confidence. And like, bro, some of the dopest people I've met is because I've helped in some like crazy way. Um, I helped this real estate investor at an event. Like, this is before I was even wholesaling. So I learned about wholesaling. He helped me learn how to wholesale. He brought me into his program completely free because I helped him do this. He was like outside the event and he couldn't figure out how to find the passwords on his MacBook. So like I'm like, oh, that shit's so easy. I helped him. He's like, hey, come talk to me after I get off a stage. I'll get off stage. He lives in Fort Lauderdale. And I'm like, all right, whatever. He came up to me after. He's like, bro, I want to take you to dinner for helping me do that. Because if you didn't help me get that password, I wouldn't have my presentation up. So I'm like, all right, shit. Bro, after that, I started building a relationship with him. He taught me how to raise private money, how to wholesale, how to flip, and just became an overall good ass friend. He's brought me other buyers. And I'm like, fuck. If I didn't just go up to him and ask him what's wrong, like, what could I help you with? Bro, it's crazy how much you just squat. Everything to me is a divine moment, bro. Everything.
Yeah.
And the more you reject those divine moments, the less they come to you.
Yeah.
Huge.
And and I know we're at the top of that or the top of our time here, but you know what
Yeah.
I learned through this process too, which you just it's a very similar situation because the imposter syndrome I mentioned earlier, and I had it for a while, especially with like running a group like Uncaged. You get these guys that are, like I said, running $100 million a year companies. I'm like, what the fuck could I ever do for them? Like, how do I ever support them? And here's what I learned: some of the high net worth people, you might go 10 years before you're ever able to do something for them. But the
Yeah.
one motherfucking thing you do for them is worth millions of dollars. Bro,
Yeah.
the higher involvement you have with these people or the higher value that they have, they don't need some of your basic ass shit. And I'm not here not to say don't support them, but it takes one fucking deal and it's all worth it to them. Like the Stallers and
Yeah.
the Byrons, I was always like, bro, like outside of motherfucking friendship, like what can I do for these people? Like how they did a deal together and it's like multiple six figures to each of them. And now like here I am validated because I'm like, man, like I want to see all my homies winning, bro. I want to see everybody eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always looking for opportunities to help put good people together. But if I was ever to be holding myself back because of that self-limiting belief, I'm like really genuinely thinking, I'm like, how many motherfuckers, oh God, like hear me when I say this, because I don't want this taken out of context, but I'm like, how many of my homies wouldn't be eating right now? And I'm not saying that they wouldn't have gone
Yeah.
and got on their own, but like literally, I'm worth millions of dollars of deals from friends to friends. Now,
Correct.
arguably, I've helped people unfortunately lose millions of dollars throughout the years. Like it's a part of it, but like I never stopped trying to help. I never stopped trying to plug people in. And like the more and more that I've looked at it, something as simple as Austin Hulsey coming to a fucking retreat and hearing that one thing about his Dobermans. Like that was worth
Yeah.
6 grand to him. That investment's worth fucking 6, 7 years of Uncaged to him right there in a 30-second
Yeah.
conversation. You know what I'm
Shit.
saying? Because not
Yeah,
everyone
you
got
gotta,
three
yeah.
grand to be spending on their dogs. So
Bro, you gotta remember, one thing I learned about you, bro, is you're a connector. That's the biggest thing. I think that's one of the most valuable things in a human being is being a connector, bro. Because it's not what you could do for the person, it's what you could do, what they could do through you and
yeah.
who you connect through you, bro. So that's a big thing for you to remember about yourself. You're a fucking connector, bro.
No, man, I appreciate it, dude. It means a lot. That's something that, it was the Zig Ziglar, you help enough people do what they want, they'll help you do what you want. And so
Yeah.
like that's something like I've been really focused on, not, like, oh, let me take advantage of my homies by helping them because then they'll have an IOU, but it's not like genuinely like I said, bro, I didn't start doing big numbers until I started hanging out with motherfuckers doing big numbers. So if I can help the people that are around me start doing big numbers, inevitably I'll end up doing it, right?
The
Like it's
big
the
numbers.
law of averages, bro. So,
Yeah.
well, bro, we're actually over, Thomas. I knew this was gonna be a good conversation. I knew us chopping it up was gonna be fun. So, I want to be respectful of your time, but also B, like, I want to make sure that like this information, this link to this doesn't scare people because there's a lot of value in here. But you've obviously you spent what fucking 45 minutes here with me. What
Yeah.
is it that we can do for you to pay you back for the time that you spent here with us?
Shit, bro. That's always a tough question for me to ask, bro. Always a tough question. If you know anybody, I mean, on the front, the forefront, if you know anybody who wants to buy land, that's always a cool one. Um, the back end, bro, it's what I could do for you guys, man. I'm a big giver, bro. I'm a huge giver. Like I like to receive, but whatever I could do in return, um, bro, if it's something to learn or just something that y'all need, bro, help hit me up, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm much more bigger on giving than receiving.
Yeah. No, man, I love it, dude. Well, if you're listening to this episode, I mean, obviously, reach out to me. I'll connect you with Rob at Rob Ortiz across pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, add official Rob Ortiz on Instagram and then Rob Ortiz on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah,
Simple.
hit him up, man. And not only that, like if you got something from this episode, like obviously give us a like, a share, a comment, whatever. Let us know. But even if you don't do that, just reach out to Rob, let him know how he did on this episode or what you got from it, man. It's just inspiration and motivation like that that really goes a long way for us. When we know, especially going out of our way, spending time on calls like this. I appreciate you, spending the time
Yeah.
with us here. But I know for a fact someone's going to take something from this. So I appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you for having the platform, my brother. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, y'all heard it here. So if y'all need anything else, reach out. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.